Good morning and welcome to the latest season of The Walking Dead. Today we have myself, Hippie, playing the 8th US Infantry Division Mechanized, and I'm up against Asmoodelus, a former top 15 player, I don't know what his rank is right now, and he's playing the best of in the game, Berliner Gropers, Groperung. And yeah, 8th Infantry I also think is now an S tier division, and I think this is number 1 and this is number 2 or 3. 3, I think. Perhaps. So yeah, this is an infantry trash fights map, KemmyKal, and this is a ranked game. It was played as a ranked game, so we didn't tailor our decks to this map. Deck codes will be available in the description, and if you like this kind of video, be sure to leave a funny comment. So, if you haven't seen my 2.5 hour video showing what's changed in the patch, don't worry, you don't need to watch all 2.5 hours. The first 15 minutes is an accurate summary. So we're in the zombie horde meta where you just walk towards your enemy with waves of infantry and cheap fire support to kill the enemy's waves of infantry and 1 or 2 heavy tanks to kill the enemy's cheap fire support. So it's the zombie horde meta, and it is slowly approaching combined arms, but basically infantry dies too slowly, infantry small arms don't really do too much. The things that kill infantry, autocannons, satchels, RPOs, flamethrowers, flash, hand flam patron, they were all nerfed, and so small arms weren't really buffed that much, and so basically it's very difficult to kill infantry, so you just sort of spam infantry into your opponent. So we'll go through the deployments and then we'll start with the game. So starting with myself, playing 8th US, which I don't play often. And I'm going to deploy an LRS to here just so I can see people coming down this road, because I know that Untermensch gets its own forward deployment. And so here I'm being conservative on this side, just an LRS down here, LRS here, and an LRS here. So that's 4 LRS out for me. And snipers have also been significantly nerfed. This used to do 1 HE, now it does 0.1 HE, so this is way worse. But it's, you know, they get more ammo now, which means they can shoot for longer, so the sustainment is better. Then we've got, start with the Stinger, shall we? So got 2 military police, one's going to here, and I believe one's going to here, so we get rid of those. I was right, and I've got 3 Stingers, one's going to here, one's going to here, and one's going to here. I have taken the liberty of only purchasing 1 CV, which is going to Alpha and then to Charlie. I just needed as much infantry as possible. I know that basically Groperungs is better than my div, and this is a better map for him, because I get more open ground stuff than he does, like the M113A3 Dragon, not very useful in a forest. 50 cal's good, but the Dragon's not going to do anything because of the minimum range. And yeah, so this is a great map for Groperungs, but credit to Asmoodelus, he said this was like, you know, he's not really played them before, he just knows they're OP now, and so now he's playing them. Don't judge him, you do the same. You do the same. So I've got 3 rangers, I believe one's going to here, and 2 are going to here. 2, 3, yes, that is correct. And then I've got 5 Mech Rifles Law. So Mech Rifles Law are a zombie horde unit. 55 points is a bit on the expensive side for a zombie horde unit, but they get 3 LSWs, and the Law is now really good because all infantry AT does massive suppression. Like I said, check out the first 15 minutes of that 2.5 hour video, and you'll see, because I'm definitely going to miss things. So yeah, I got Mech Rifles Law going all over the place. And sadly, they're not in really the right transport for this map, but I didn't know that. So I didn't know if we would get this map because it's ranked. So 3 going here, 1 going here, and 1 going to here. So, oh, I also have 1 Black Hawk with aero rifles. Helicopters die a lot more easily now, but they are more maneuverable, and their transport prices came down 5 points on transport helicopters because of this. So they're more maneuverable, but they die faster when they get caught out. And, you know, as soon as you get stunned, you're dead, basically. It's kind of frustrating. So he's going to go right to the edge of the map, drop his guy here, and then come back here before being sold. But the auto cell doesn't work. Switching to my opponent's deployment, he has decided to open 1 CV as well, and he's going Echo and then Charlie. For the island, he's got, yeah, so his forward deployed stuff can actually start on the island here, which is a big advantage for this side. If I were to say which side of the map is better, I think this side's better, because not only can your forward deployed stuff start here, which makes them get there faster, the airborne stuff can even start further up. Also on this side, so when you're blue, you've got this problem that the enemy's going to walk through this dense forest, and it's kind of hard to deal with that. Whereas if you do that as blue, you don't actually end up in the enemy's zone. He's got this nice open ground buffer here, so you can still walk through the forest, but you don't get to his zone. Having said that, blue does have some advantages, namely this. So red's main reinforcement for this is to cross this bridge and come down this road. So if blue puts a unit here, like a tow or something, it can shoot everything coming down this road. Whereas if red wanted to do that, the main blue reinforcement takes it down here, and because of these trees, red wouldn't really be able to shoot. So blue does have some advantages. I'd love to see the win rates if Eugen's willing to provide them, but I can understand why they won't, because I think they'll be pretty bad. So he's got a BRDM-2 scout vehicle going to there and then to there. It's interesting. And then a Mock Grenzer going to there. These are your cheap 25 point, no AT recon, but they're very spammable recon. Keep in mind that Gropers don't get a recon helicopter. They're the only division in the game which does not get a recon helicopter, which is good. I think that's good, because they're already the best in the game, in my opinion. So he's got a Metis, which I think is going to here. Yep. And then he's got two Strela, one going to here, one going to here. For some reason, he's decided to click fast move and then unload, whereas if you just press Y and then click here, then they will fast move unload, and you don't have to do two separate orders. If you're watching this, Asmoodelus, yeah, because he's done it for all of them. You can tell by the color of the arrow. So you see that mine's just yellow because I've just pressed Y, and so he will go to there and unload, whereas he's pressed F and then U, or he's done it manually down here with the buttons down here. Learn your hotkeys, it'll save you a lot of time. It's not necessary, but it'll save you a lot of time. You've got BRDM-2 trying to get around this side as well. And yeah, so for the middle, we got Gren's of Flam. This is a recon unit with a flamethrower, but not much ammo. Can only do 4 shots. Flamethrowers have also been nerfed a bit. They're still very strong, but not strong as they were. These guys haven't been pathed anywhere. They don't have any orders queued up. He's bought a book. The book, best AA piece in the game. Do you see how it actually covers basically the entire width of the map? That's a book for you. But it fires its missiles a bit slower now than it did before. Like, it can't shoot 4 missiles at once, so it fires them a bit more slowly. And then, yeah, for the middle, he's got Vopos spam, KDA Schutzen spam, ×4, 1 Panzerjäger, 3 more Vopos for a total of 5 Vopos, and he's got a military police because this guy buffs. As you can see, it provides a suppression regeneration bonus, which is actually pretty useful, particularly with these guys, KDA Schutzen, who have the unsteady trait. So that covers it for the deployment and the map discussion, and now we'll get on with the game. Right, so they're off, and a couple of people asked me why there's always a cut between me talking and the game starting, and that's because I have to press escape to... Interesting. Oh, I see. So how does he know my helicopter's here? Basically, there's a cheat that you can do in the game where you just stick your face into the ground and you can hear vehicles going past, like you could just heard that, right? So he has done that, and even though he can't see them, he can hear them all going past. So he knows what my deployment of forces is, he knows my helicopter's here. It's very cheesy, I don't do it. I don't do it 90% of the time. But that's the game, and you have to appreciate that in a competitive environment, people are going to use anything they can to win. If there was a cheat button and you could just press it to win the game, people would press it. Do you understand what I mean? So you cannot expect people to not do this, and it just needs to be removed from the game. So if you want people to not do it, ask Eugen to remove them from the game. So he's got massive abundance of infantry over me, and he knows about the helicopter because he heard it back here. That's what that ping was about, and he knows that I have more forces down here because it'll have a larger sound than I have had down there. So I buy a Cobra because I see all this stuff unload with the LRS, and I'm like, well, how the hell do I kill all his infantry? He just gets more infantry than me. And I made a crucial mistake in this game. I took the Flash, Engineer Flash, out of my deck, which was a big, big mistake. Even though the Flash has been nerfed, you still need it for stunning up infantry and just getting that DPS out there. So that was a big mistake, and I'll be suffering for that all game. So I get the Cobra, and yeah, I park it down the road so I can just... And, you know, we see that. We get it, the Rangers finish it off. And now he's walking into me a bit. My dispersion of my forces ain't great. And he's managed to get me around me here, so that was smart from him. I was originally going to put the LRS down here, but I changed my mind. And you see that I was wrong to change my mind. So I send this over here to deal... Well, I don't know about this, but I thought, well, I haven't covered this, so I need to cover it. So I put the LRS there. So... using these bombers to great effect. It's only 140 points, and the stingers, you'd expect one hit out of every 2 stingers, and instead we get 3 misses on 60% accuracy stingers with a 10% accuracy aircraft, so you expect 2 or 3 hits and we get none. But that's AA gameplay really, it's very RNG based. You just need way more AA than you think you need to deal with the RNG. And as you see, this isn't being sold, but he knows about this just because he'll have heard the sounds. The sound on the underground. So I'm changing my altitude here to lower it because I'm pretty sure I saw this book. Or I just preempt this book. So if you lower your altitude, then you can't, you know, this becomes your LOS as opposed to when you're flying, your LOS would be much bigger and then things could shoot you. And Asmoodelus loves his 120mm mortars. Over here, you know, these M113A3s are actually pretty useful. So this is cheap fire support. This is exactly what do you need in this meta. You need spammable infantry, spammable, effective, cheap infantry, and you need cheap fire support. Doesn't necessarily have to be IFVs. IFVs have been nerfed, so 50 cals and BTR 60 PBs, KPVTs, they're all good. 120mm mortars are good. And you need a couple heavy assets to just kill the enemy's cheap fire support. So here you go, his cheap fire support's being brought to bear, and that will make him win this fight. So I move the dragon over because it's got this dragon, it will be able to kill that. This guy's getting over here, and he's well and truly been spotted now. And you see that I'm sort of pushing him back, but he just has way more stuff than me. And to be honest, it was... Berliner Groperungs, another one of its many advantages, is that it gets infinite supply compared to other divisions, because it gets this supply helicopter, which we'll see soon, which comes with 6,000 supply. But the big difference is that you get 2 of them in a card, which means 12,000 supply total. And that's more than any other supply card in the game, by a lot, apart from the fob. But if you bring a fob, you're going to lose. Don't bring a fob in 1v1. So yeah, we're using the dragon here, and the Metis has a 300... The ATGMs have a 350 meter minimum range, so I'm taking advantage of that and the tight buildings here to just, you know, get up to him so he can't shoot. And this will be the real damage dealer here, because infantry small arms still don't really do anything. So he smoked this to stop me from pushing through. It kind of splits my forces, you see. It's a pretty effective tactic, really, and it stops the Cobra from... Because before, the Cobra could shoot down this road, and it can't do that anymore. Got an Nighthawk here, and you see what I mean about he can just send guys around here to get into my zone, and I can't really do that to him. I could do it on this side though, but then he can do it here. But yeah, so I have the advantage on this side that I can put one thing here to cover it, whereas he would have to put. Well, actually, he can just put one here. Yeah, he can just put one here. So never mind. I retract my statement. So yeah, he's spamming out the infantry, he's doing it right. I'm not microing my infantry well enough. This guy should have been brought back when he was on 3 HP or something. And yeah, he left his CV over here, and he's not got much here because it's all going in the middle, so I recognized that he was pushing loads of stuff down here, and so I push in. And I'd bought my second CV a bit faster than him, so right now I'm +5, and now I'll go to +3. I've got a bit of a lead. But just look how much garbage is here, man. And yeah, the cheap fire support in the forest obviously not doing so great. Smoke fades and you see the Cobra can kill guys there. And I get a chaparral in case he sends a plane to kill the Cobra. I put a guy here to stop him from sneaking round, but as you can see, he can't cover the whole thing, right? And I buy a seed aircraft because I knew about this book. Or at least I assumed about the book. I'm pretty sure I knew about it. I think I saw it. Like, when it was coming down the road or something, I saw it. And I bought a howitzer to counter battery as mortars. So I just put it on automatic counter battery, and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, then at least we know automatic counter battery doesn't work for mortars. So I crossed this, and there was nothing here, so I moved the CV up, but he's moving this BRDM2 here now, and because it's amphibious, it's going on the water. He kills my Ihawk. Good thing is that I can send the Cobra around, and yeah, great micro from Asmoodelus. He's been switching off his AA every time I circle it around, and eventually he hits me, and now this guy's going to be out of combat for like 9-10 minutes or something. I think 8 or 9 minutes. So we're trying to kill this guy, but as you can see, it takes a very long time now because this is an autocannon and it's been nerfed. This guy's got to get back. I'm just like totally outnumbered here. I'm just getting absolutely eaten up. He's just got too much stuff here. I have the advantage here though, and so I move this over here. But now there's a helicopter there, so I think I'll stop it. And you know, this guy's blocking me, and I don't actually know about this yet. There you go. Automatic counter battery does work on mortars. It just takes a really long time. And you see that the entire salvo misses and does nothing. And now it's reloading for 45 seconds. So, you know, it's really not the best thing ever. I mean, howitzers are a bit weak right now. And yeah, he's using the mortar to great effect. Like, he's using it for smoke, so he can smoke this guy so that I can't shoot him when I'm in the building. Over here, there's a shilker over here. I'll get it with the mech rifles law. And yeah, mech rifles will beat KDA Schutzen in a one-on-one. Problem is, this ain't a one-on-one. This is a 20 million versus 1. But in terms of cost efficiency, mech rifles law beat KDA Schutzen. For 10 points more, what you get is incredible. But I only get 6 of these per card, 8 at one vet, whereas he gets 12 of these per card. And they start with more HP, so they have other utility. And their rocket launchers actually, well, it's more or less the same. So I know that he's got AA back here because of that book, and so I got to be really careful. I'm trying to use 8's Cobra advantage, but over these forested grounds into Gropers, which has such good AA, it's not really possible. So yeah, now he's spamming out the T-34s, but because of the... So Infantry AT deals massive suppression now. So even though that missed, do you see how, like... Well, okay, so one of them hit, but do you see how 2 of them are on low cohesion? Yeah, so I sent aero rifles to try and clear this out, but obviously infantry is a bit better versus helicopters now, like a lot better. And you see that he sent a CV from around here down to here. And he smoked this and just completely bypassed it. I think he just walked right past it, because we couldn't see each other because of the smoke. Here you go, that's that transport, that's that supply helicopter I was telling you about, 6,000 supply, and you get 2 of them in a card, so that's 12,000 supply. These guys have still been left here, and I lose my CV over here to this BRDM2. So it's looking pretty rough for me on this side now, because I've been trying to reinforce this. Like, I had to buy another Ihawk because of the one I lost, but he sends this here, and I still have this here, so that was an interesting decision. This guy landed. This guy tried to land and died, I guess. I guess he didn't manage to land, he just died. This guy needs to get in here, but yeah, the CV dies because, obviously, right? So the mech rifles are trying to hold back the zombie hordes. My zombie horde's trying to hold back his zombie horde, but his zombie horde is better than my zombie horde. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And these Cobras, the resupply cost on them is absolutely incredible. Like, helicopter rocket resupply is really high. So yeah, I do actually have 3 cards of supply. It's just buying the supply. See, I appear to have a bug on my LOS. I guess we'll just leave that over there so nobody can see it. And yeah, we got that SPG-9. But yeah, this blob man is just too big. I'm trying to thin it out with the helicopters, but now he's buying Strelas to stop that. So yeah, I'm still +3 for the moment, because he's not got a CV in here. There is one on the way, and it's a tank this time. Worth noting that carbines are still quite good. Carbines weren't nerfed. But yeah, I lost this supply as well from this KDA Schutzen. So it's difficult to cover enough ground, right? Because my units are quite expensive, whereas his, you know, like half the price, less than half the price. So I raise my noggin to shoot at the T-34s. And, you know, it's aiming, it's aiming, it's aiming, it's aiming, it's aiming. We lose these supplies, which I've been buying to try and keep my infantry in the fight, but not doing it very effectively. Strela's coming in. And by the time so I see it now, and he turns, but it's already ogre, right? Because look how long it takes to aim. And then it tries to aim twice for some reason. It starts to aim twice. And then, yeah, 3 shots, 2 hits. And yeah, so I'm getting pushed out now. So my guy's down here, the T-34s, he's just Q-clicking through me. And, you know, I moved up too far here, really. They got caught out by that helicopter. So I exceeded my AA. And now my CV is going to die before my rangers can get there. Because I knew this was coming, but I just wasn't fast enough. And it was coming because it killed my guy down here. She's got T-34s in now, and I figured that what he would do was send a CV to here because he knows that I'm here, and so he'll just send it to here. I've got this for half of it, got this for like the other half, but I gotta watch out for that Strela. Thing is, the Strela actually came out here, and then this thing hit it with its toe. So for 40 points, this is really useful. So the Rangers are out now, and they're gonna start mulching these T-34s, but it's just the quantity. Then Asmoodelus buys an Uragan, and he puts it all the way over here. Uragans have an absolutely massive maximum range, so he's not going to be able to shoot from anywhere except the back of the map, because the map's so small. And I'm trying to get over here, and then I was like, oh man, there's loads of people here as well, and he just outnumbers me on such a huge percentage. I'm trying to be careful with the dragons, like, you know, obviously, so the Panzerjäger's here, right, so I can shoot these guys with the dragons, so if you blob them up, you can do stuff like that. Scout's getting to work. It's not going to do too much, but it'll do a little bit. And you see that the laws are way better now than they were before because of the suppression's massive and the accuracy went up like 6% as well. Rangers versus KDA Schutzen. It just takes ages, and you see that the KDA Schutzen are actually winning. Do you see this? It's Rangers versus KDA Schutzen. KDA Schutzen are winning. Just because of how many people there are. These guys are Special Forces and Shock. I don't think they were within 150 meters range, which is my fault, really. It might be, which would make them better. Let's check on that in a few minutes, but it looks like the Rangers are going to lose, even though... Because, yeah, the KDA, because they get 9... Well, they get 13 assault rifles. So I buy a Thunderbolt, which is probably a mistake. It's because I know about these. And I finally managed to get to here to stop that from coming through. So, yeah, the book hits... So I hit that, and then I'm like, oh, no, there's a book. And the book misses me, actually. Pretty sure it hit me, you know. Okay, whatever. Over here, the Rangers are losing to the KDA Schutzen. DDR strong. And yeah, you see, like, he's like low cohesion. My cohesion, I'm still gonna lose. It's just kind of sad. Over here, Stinger's trying to shoot the helicopter and just dies. And he's in here now. So I send the scout over and I buy another A10. Because I'm like, well, how the hell else am I going to kill that before he ticks up too much? I'm actually still +1 at this point, but I figured he'd buy another CV for here, and yeah, he is. And I'm getting pushed out of here as well. I've been pushed out of here by the zombie horde, so there you go. I tried to shoot this with that, and then the cub hit that. See how fast helicopters die to small arms now? But yeah, by reversing, he gets hit in the side by this toe, and he's now stunned. And then he just stops moving it. And then he sees it, and then he dies. So this thing hitting 2 at once with 50% accuracy is actually pretty lucky. So yeah, luck moment. But yeah, that was kind of dumb of him. Like he saw the first one and then he didn't really react in time for the second one. If he just reversed or even went towards it, he would have survived. But instead he got hit twice in the side. So send the seed out for the book. but the book's out of ammo, which means the seed doesn't actually... So when it's out of ammo, it's automatically switched off. And so I thought we had some mega micro here, but actually all that happened was that it was out of ammo. So I sent another CV down here, but my Rangers died to KDA Schutzen. I mean, clearly something going on. My Special Forces team died to some KDA militia. And yeah, he sends this military police to check out what the hell's down there. He probably thought it was an infantry team, but it's not. And then there you go, that's the thing that got hit, and this seed is just really just not helping me out at all. And yeah, I keep sending units down this road, and they keep getting blown up by this helicopter. So that's got really good sight line, as you can see. It's going straight down the road. It's a good play from Asmoodelus. So this seed is just the turning circles I was on it is too big, basically. Like, he's not even switching it off. It's just not shooting because the turning circle's too big. So I use the LGB bomber instead, and it doesn't drop its bombs even though it was clicked on it. I remember this. I remember getting very upset about this. And then second pass, it does finally do it, because I can see it because it's switched on, because the seed will reveal it, but the seed's not shooting its damn missile, all 5 of them. So we buy the LGB bombers, and you know, it takes all 4 bombs, but we get there. And the Uragan's finally going to shoot, but he's shooting at a place where I'm not actually there, because I've moved up. So trying to use the Cobras a bit, and you see that they are, you know, they are still pretty effective. I mean, he should have put more Strelas in with these blobs. Like, Strelas are so cheap, you could definitely afford to. And I start by like M1 Abrams because I'm like, well, I'm starting to run out of infantry. He's not running out of infantry. Just KDA Schutzen beating my Rangers. Finally got that KDA Schutzen that was there, and I was T55 there, so I'm getting sort of pushed out of here. And using my air a bit more, because we know the book's down, so I can use my air a bit more. I don't actually know about this yet. And he's still got these 2 Grenzer Flams back here. So he buys some Shilkers. Shilkers a lot better now than they were before. If I'd known this was here, that would have been big, but I don't. And now you see that you can't just drive your heavy tanks into forests anymore, because a law will stun them. Like, so you see he's getting mediocre cohesion from the worst AT in the game, or the second worst. So we see this, and yeah, you see that the laws are killing the TAB. Cobra finishes it off. He's around here. I lost my unit that was here. Over on this side, my leader's been exposed, and I don't have any AT infantry yet because my ranger died to that T55. So I'm getting messed up, and he's getting around me on this side, which is smart. So I'm getting pushed out of there. Starting to worry, although I'm not sure. Like, his infantry just seemed like he bought a bunch of AA, and so now he doesn't actually have that much infantry here anymore. I didn't actually know about that. I assumed there was loads, but I know about this. And I try and shoot it with the Cobras, but then it's like gun angle low and all this, so the Shilkers start shooting me and I leave, and you see that the Shilkers are a lot better now. That was at max range and it did quite a bit. And this guy's got a crit, and this guy, you know. So we get those guys out of there. Over on this side, this man will die. All these men will die, and I get pushed out of the middle. So with 20 minutes left, 8th is really meant to be like an early game div, really. And you can tell, early game's over, we're at 20 minutes, we're halfway through the game. Also, standard hippie play, I just get worse as the game goes on. So I bomb that, I kill my own guys, but it's an FS Jaeger and they're going to die anyway, so it's worth it. And my counter battery has actually worked. So the mortar that was here died. Here goes the seed, it misses, nice. Although I think, yeah, the first one hit that Shilker that was there, and it killed that, I think, unless it was here and it was killed by... Yeah, it was here, I think. Well, whatever. Anyway. And yeah, I can't see anything here now because everybody's dead. And I bring the seed back round. Woo, let's go again. I got 5 missiles. I can do this all day, baby. And we trade. Which is fine for me because you get quite a lot of wild weasels. And I wanted to use this to shoot that buck, but obviously I can't now. And now he's got even more infantry, and you see I'm using the Abrams for fire support, but I know that he's got Panzerjäger around, so I have to pay attention to what the units are. The RPG-18 could also stun this thing up pretty fast, so I'm being careful with it. I'm being very careful with it. So I recognise that I'm not getting back in here. I send 2 chaparrals to try and deal with that helicopter. Get another seed up. You see that the Shrike has 4,400 meters range, whereas the Buck has 5,650 meters range. So his AA micro has really fallen off, basically, and it's not helping him. So 2 chaparrals definitely going to deal with that helicopter, and he can only get 2 of those. I don't know how many he put in his deck. So we've dealt with the Bucks. We've dealt with one of the helicopters. He's still got infinite infantry, but you see that he's buying more tanks now. So maybe he does. I don't know how he's built his deck. Maybe he is running out of infantry. This guy's not being resupplied by this, so it was a waste of money. These guys are still here. And he's just buying more and more and more AA. And that's really helping me, because every AA piece he buys is an infantry piece that he doesn't buy. And then I can actually fight these fights. You see, we're sort of playing ring around the rosies here. He's trying to move the Panzerjäger to shoot the Abrams, and I'm trying to rotate my laws to stop him from doing that. And I'm simultaneously trying to use the Abrams to shoot these guys. And he's got a recon round here, and you see that I put a tank here and 2 vehicles here just to stop that from happening again. And yeah, I can use my air a bit more, but we lose vision, so it doesn't work. And then he started buying non-seedable AA. I think this is too good, really, for 80 points. I think it's too good against planes, because it can't be... It's just fire and forget. I think it's too good. Like the range and everything. Considering it's not radar, it's not really counterable. It's anti-helo, and the anti-plane on it's too good. In my opinion. I use it as well when I'm on this team. And you see he's bought a howitzer now, because he... So he's buying the wrong things. Like, he needs line infantry. He's ran out of line infantry. His big blob from before has slowly been frittered away, and he just keeps buying like supporting units. So I don't know if he ran out of infantry, like he didn't put enough in his deck or something. You shouldn't run out of infantry as Gropers. But you see that he's switching to like 4-man mock Grenzer team, so I don't know how he built his division. The deck code, of course, will be available in the description. And I'm trying to just slowly move back in here. We've got this guy here to stop anybody from sneaking around here. But I was a bit worried that he would just walk down here. So I think I put a unit there. This howitzer's not shooting, it should be. I think I just left it on counter battery. And yeah, so I'm running out of infantry as well, which is why you've seen more Abrams in the forest. And you see that I'm running the base M1 Abrams instead of the M1A1 Abrams. Just because of how much cheaper it is. It's like 80 points cheaper now. And it's got a better availability curve. So it's very much worth it. And this will kill anything that he's bringing right now. All these T-34s he keeps spamming. These guys are more than enough to deal with this. So I see 8th as more of a M1 Abrams spam division now, as opposed to an M1A1 Abrams spam division. But really, it's all about the infantry, the mech rifles law, the engineers dragon, and these are a great zombie unit. And strength, shock, 40 points, dragon. It's amazing. These guys don't get AT. I don't actually know about this yet, but I guess I'm about to find out. Any second now. I hope I don't just walk past him. I'm becoming conscious of the fact that I don't have cover for this. So this was really dumb, because if he just sneaks across here, I'm going to die. And yeah, and then there you go, I get popped in like the back or something. Like, he decides to do like some kind of weird 360 attack. But even if he hadn't, this Panzerjäger would have eaten him. So I'm getting a bit worried now. Deploy everybody a bit early. Over here, I'm slowly pushing my way back in. The KDA Schutzen are getting mulched by M113A3s and my bombers, because I know I've got an air advantage now. Because his cubs are dead. His bucks are dead, sorry. And the 2 chaparrals will obviously kill anything that you send at them. Getting a CV back up here, because he is +3. And so he buys another bomber, and it's probably going to suffer the same fate. Yeah, I mean, chaparrals are broken. Their availability's gone down, which is good. And so, yeah, I'm shooting his guys as they come in now, because he's... Because once you get to here as blue, that's the disadvantage red has. It's a hard fit. Well, okay. Once you get to here as blue, red has to dismount literally like here. But once you get to here as red, it's sort of the same story. These mech rifles are in my way. Sort of the same story that blue has to like dismount here. So, so yeah, it's not great. So I send this over, and then it gets it's got 40% ECM, and then it gets hit by a 40% accuracy Strela and a 50% accuracy Strela. But thankfully it doesn't die, not all three of them hit. And at least we know there's no radar AA there, but we know there's a lot of normal AA there, so I start sending these forwards just to shoot up that AA, because I figured if there's AA there, there's probably not ground units there. So it turns out there was a ground unit hit. This thing's got terrible accuracy though, so I could probably just run up to it and kill it. And I'm really starting to push it back now. So yeah, I'm just getting like limited utility out the Thunderbolts, because if I fly it too slow, I get hit by all these Strelas, man. I mean, it's so easy to saturate the map with Strelas. 20 points. It says 40% accuracy, but the way ECM works is that ECM has a flaw. So the minimum accuracy of any AA piece is 20% regardless of ECM. So that means that these guys punch well above their weight, because even if you've got 50% ECM, it's still going to be 20% accuracy. But yeah, he's having trouble resupplying his guys. Like, he's still coming down this road, and we've got Engineer's Dragon here now. We've got lots of Engineer's Dragon here now, because I ran out of Mech Rifles Law. Because it's KemmyKal, and we're at, you know, almost 30 minutes. This is still on counter battery, so it's going to start hitting that now. Like, that's a bit too far forwards, really. But yeah, the dispersion on the howitzers is not great. Like, particularly for counter battery, it's just not very effective, because the chance of it actually hitting is quite low. So we see this tank CV with the Blackhawks. Blackhawks have 10% ECM and 8 HP. And 2 machine guns, so I'm just sending them over so I can keep vision on him. He's about to pass through this guy, and I smoke that, but it's too late. ATGM speeds have increased, and so we see this, so we send the AT, we send the M6, the other one, the Thunderbolt. M60 gets a side shot, LGB kills him, Thunderbolt doesn't have to do anything. And at this point it's a bit of a total collapse for him, like, you know, he can't, all his reinforcements came in and got shot. I've got my massive blob. He's managed to take this, but I'm getting back in here. You know, like, he's not really got much left here. And you just see all the red dying, like waves and waves of red dying. He's just, you know, I'm sort of in his backline now. I didn't really evac my jets properly, because we were just talking at this point, because he said GG. And so that Thunderbolt died to, like, Strelas, basically, just because he was flying over him over and over again. And, yeah. I have won. So let me know what you think of the new meta. Groperungs is the best div in the game now, and 8th is 2nd or 3rd in my opinion. I think 2nd UK is an S tier division. I call them Z tier divisions because this is a zombie meta, and that's why they're the best, because they're the best zombie divs. I mean, look at this, just waves of trash. Every thin man in America is on this battlefield. So yeah, that's it, right? I mean, what else can you say? You know, he bought this Jurgen and he didn't really use it. It's like the second Volume 5 of this game. And yeah, to his credit, he doesn't play a lot of Groperungs yet. And yeah, so I'm rank 14 now. And he's gone down a lot. He used to be in the top 15 or something. But we actually have a reasonably similar number of games. Like, he's got about 700 ranked games, and I've got closer to 800 now, actually. And I have a lot of unranked games, because I play versus AI and stuff like that. So in terms of kills, the Cobras worked out alright. I mean, this didn't actually pay for itself. Everything here is cheaper than this unit. Actually, that's not true. 45, 90... Yeah, this is 120. Okay, fine. So this paid for itself. Yeah, you lost a lot of CVs. So the Shilka, that I said died to the seed, actually died to the Mech Rifles Law, unless it was a separate one. Counter battery worked on his mortars. Not enough infantry, too many cheap tanks, not enough cheap infantry. You see the Tow Cobra definitely paid for himself, dealt with those TABs. This thing got that, so that's cool. LGB, so this definitely didn't pay for itself. And you see that the value of just having one... So this guy was the guy that ended up shooting down that reinforcement road, right? So you see the value. You need... So this is why TKS is not S tier. It gets the infantry spam, but it doesn't get the cheap fire support, really. And it doesn't get the heavy tanks that you need. I'd call the M1 a medium. But, yeah. So yeah, you see the tanks are still useful. It's just there's less of them, particularly on a map like this. And that's look how well his helicopter did. That is mad. That was all those guys that I just kept sending down that road. He kept blowing them up. His FS Jäger did really well. KDA Schutzen routinely beating Rangers, beating Law, beating LRS, beating fire teams. KDA Schutzen, man. I've been sleeping on KDA Schutzen. So yeah, you see that I had a good start, and then in the mid game he kind of came back, and then towards the end I kind of came back. I came back like wholesale. It's like it's got to his reinforcement line and he wasn't unloading them fast enough, and yeah. So good game, well played.